Hey everybody, how are you doing today? It is September 19th, 2020, and right here I want to talk about the stimulus check update, okay? People have been waiting for this over and over again, and you see so many channels doing these, stimulus check updates every single day with this massive clickbait talking about how, it's approved, we're going to get a second check, etc., etc. And they're just using that to be able to get as many views and subscribers as they can, which is pathetic. I think it's pathetic that you're going to use your channel and use people's how desperate they are and how much they need this money just to get through, be able to pay their rent or utilities or even put food on the table. You're going to use that and benefit off that, especially these bigger channels. So I wanted to do a update because this literally just came out yesterday, and so I want to get into this and ask you some questions about it too, because I am going through this. So I would like to know if you're going through it, what state you're from, and just kind of how the process is going for you. Okay, this is from CNBC. It says stimulus checks, the eviction ban, unemployment benefits. Here's what relief measures you can rely on. Can rely on is a pretty big stretch to me, okay? But here we go. Let's get into this. It says, it's a scary time for millions of Americans as Congress is still unable to reach a compromise on a stimulus package that could include another round of direct payments and more unemployment benefits. Jobless rates are still high, and cases of CV show no signs of abating. And we know these are going to skyrocket because they're going to use every flu symptom and literally panic everything. And I have 2 other videos coming out later today showing you how they're already doing this with the schools. They're already setting this up where they weren't prepared in these schools, and now they're having to quarantine schools, isolate kids, lock down this, lock down that, and so it's going to be time for another lockdown for sure, and they're going to push and say that these kids spread this everywhere. So I have 2 videos coming out. Please go check those out. They're very important. It says, yet even without a formal deal between Republicans and Democrats, a number of relief measures are still available to many. Those include the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's announcement that most people struggling to pay their rent amid the pandemic can't be evicted through the end of the year. Okay, so now this applies to me, okay, because I am obviously very behind on my rent and having to, continue to wait for my unemployment that I've been fighting to get all the way back, at the end of April. I'm still waiting to get it, only due to the fact that about verifying your identity, even though I did everything I was told, sent in my birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, I even sent in extra things, and, did everything I could so that it would be verified so that I could get my back pay and start getting paid, okay? Throughout this entire thing, I've gotten one payment for $160 on September 1st. That is all the way back from April, and the rest, everything is owed to me in back pay. That money would be getting me through, would be, taking care of everything that I need to, since they literally shut our world down and are not allowing us, to go back to certain jobs like mine. And it's just horrible. It's horrible. People are going through it, and I'd like to know, how are you going through it? Are you dealing with unemployment? Is your family? I'd really like to know different states, how everybody is progressing, because it just shows over and over again. They don't care about us. People still think, oh, they're trying to, make us wear the mask because they care about you. They're going to give you a vax because they care about you. They've given you one stimulus payment in 8 months. You really think they care? Let's get back to this. It says, and although the $600 federal unemployment checks came to an end in July, the executive action President Donald Trump took in August will result in many jobless Americans seeing an extra $300 a week boost for at least a limited time. It was approved in my state in Michigan, but we have not received it at all. And it says right on your account when you go to it, it says you do not have to apply, for anything new. You don't have to change anything, as long as you already applied and dealing with it already, you would just start getting it, getting those few weeks of the $300 a week. And it says, in this week, the president urged Republicans to agree to a larger stimulus package, so more relief still may come. Yeah, I mean, how long have you been hearing this? You know, people are, oh, it's bad. You know, it's sad that people are going through what they are, you know, but it says for now, here's what help you can actually rely on. Okay, well, let's listen. It says unemployment benefits. Trump said he would send jobless Americans a $400 weekly payment. Yet, because the policy would require states to come up with $100 of the expanded benefit, most people will actually end up with $300 a week. Though Montana, Kentucky, and West Virginia have found a way to give out the whole amount. What's more, states might not have more than 6 weeks' worth of these payments. In some cases, it may even be less. South Dakota has said it won't even apply for the funds at all. Okay, we got the 6 weeks. That's what it says that I was approved to, but like I said, we haven't got it yet, and they keep saying that portion will also be, you know, retroactive back to you know, July 31st when the other one ended. So it's just crazy, right? It goes on to say, okay, more from personal finance. At least 20 states start paying an extra $300 a week weekly unemployment benefit. The CDC has banned evictions, but some renters are still vulnerable. Still haven't filed your 2019 tax return. Penalties are about to get steeper. Of course, right? They got to make sure they're going to take your money and get more money. And to qualify for the subsidy, you have to receive at least $100 a week in unemployment benefits from your state. So that means if you aren't, you know, getting even that $100, you aren't going to get the next 3 or the 400. You know, it's just, it's nuts. It says that could leave out more than 900,000 people. Okay, so it says right here, you know, the CDC, they banned the evictions, right? So like I was happy that, you know, they're telling me that I can't get evicted until, you know, when? December 31st. Check this out, okay? Let's see what they're doing here. Look at this. They banned the evictions, right? But some renters are still vulnerable. This come out on the 10th, okay? And it says, when the Center for Disease Control and Prevention announced last month that most evictions nationwide were banned until the end of December, it came as little relief to Eric Smith. You know what's crazy? I keep covering these stories, and like I am over and over again, the person in it is Eric. Like the video I did yesterday on the Oregon fires where that gentleman's new house, you know, didn't burn. His name was Eric. There was one the day before. It's just, it's crazy, you know. I guess, you know, God's pointing me in these directions, you know. But it says, all the single father can think about now is what will happen when the moratorium lifts. That's exactly what I am. That is what I am so worried about. Why do they think that this is going to help us? All this does is, yeah, you're telling us we can't get evicted until, you know, 2021, which is also another part that I think is kind of ironic that you, as soon as 2021 comes, you're going to have to somehow figure out how to pay all your back rent or you're going to be evicted. So how perfect is that, right? To make another, you know, tons and tons and tons of people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people homeless. Just like they are with all your wildfires, your disasters, here's another way. Come Agenda 21, right? Everything goes right into 2021 and Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, you know? But right here it says, how do we come out of this tunnel? Smith, 49, said, homeless, hungry. I worry about it every day. Yeah, I feel him, you know? Smith hasn't been able to work during the CB pandemic and has quickly depleted his small savings. Come January, he doesn't know how to come up with what could be thousands of dollars in back rent for his apartment in St. Paul, Minnesota. When they say you have to pay this in 30 days, how do I catch up with owing so much? Smith said. Exactly. It's like it's going to be impossible, you know? The CDC has made it illegal for landlords across the U.S. to evict most tenants who can't afford to pay their rent through the end of the year. It says, however, the ban doesn't relieve tenants of their obligation to pay rent or set up any funds to help renters meet their rent, making it likely that many will rack up debt during the reprieve. In the meantime, landlords are allowed to tack on late fees. This is horrible. That means for many renters, the order will just delay their eviction by a few months. Yeah, exactly. And other holes in the federal protection and inconsistent state applications also leave renters vulnerable, housing advocates say. Okay? It goes on, it says, the eviction moratorium is a Band-Aid solution, said Peggy Bailey, Vice President for Housing Policy at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. It says, by one estimate, the pandemic has already put as many as 40 million Americans at the risk of eviction. It says the United States is facing the most severe housing crisis in history. said Emily Benfer, visiting professor of law at Wake Forest University. And like I said, this all lines up with 2021, right? Coming into that spot where the vaxes are coming. Everything lines up right there. Okay, goes on, says, she called the CDC's order a temporary and incomplete measure because the moratorium does not prohibit late fees or interest. Tenant debt could quickly increase by hundreds to thousands of dollars, she said. Renters could face giant bills by the end of December, and many likely won't be able to pay them. Without adequate rental assistance to help the rents that may remain due, the vast majority of these families will be evicted after the CDC moratorium expires and suffer devastating harm. Yes. Please, leave down in the comments below. Are you going to be in these positions? And if you are, what are things that you're looking at trying to get through this? Because I really would like to make a few videos on maybe pointing people towards, grants and different, just smaller package help that they might be able to find on a state-to-state basis, so that when this does come, maybe they can be lined up, to get some type of help at least. That's why I really want to make a few videos on this. So please let me know how this is going in your state and if you or your family are being affected by it. It says landlords are also concerned that the eviction ban wasn't paired with rental aid to tenants. Without direct rental assistance, rents cannot be paid, and owners face a financial crisis of their own by not being able to maintain properties and pay their mortgages or property tax, said Bob Pinniger, president of the National Apartment Associations. Advocates point out to other problems with the moratorium. The CDC ban doesn't require landlords or the courts to notify tenants that they must fill out a declaration form and give it to their landlord. On the form, renters must attest that they meet certain qualifications, including that they could become homeless if they were evicted. Here is the thing, okay, which I did this, okay, so you, right here, you have to fill this part out, print it out, so if you're going through this, print this out. It says that I have used best efforts to obtain all available government assistance or for rent or housing, and it says I either expect to earn no more than $99,000 in annual income for the calendar year 2020. And it keeps going on. I don't have to read it all. That's what I'm saying. So make sure you go through this and you tell you're not going to be able to pay your rent, and then sign it down here. And make sure that you do this, because if you do not do this, you're not going to be protected. And even furthermore, watch. There's something just in my state. Check that. I gotta find this for you. It says many landlords are going to try to race to the court and get a judgment and remove the tenant before the tenant even knows the declaration requirement exists or how to fulfill it. That's why I wanted to make these videos, like I was saying. I want people to know that even though you hear it on the TV that the CDC has, they're protecting you, you're not going to be able to be evicted until 2021. That's not true. If you don't go get that filed, don't go get that that piece of paper, get it faxed out or printed out, and fax it in, send it in, whatever you have to do. I will leave links in the description to that exact document so that you can get to it, get it done, and get it in, okay? It says, tenants who face eviction often aren't aware of their rights, and just 10% get legal representation compared to the 90% of the landlords. Even if the tenant fills out the declaration, Pollock said, some landlords might try to challenge it in court. They will have a lawyer, the tenants will not, he said. There's also already alarming signs that the landlords are continuing to evict tenants despite the CDC's ban, and I have heard this. Please let me know if you've heard this in your area. I have definitely heard that they're just using different stipulations and just saying that, that person doesn't apply, blah, 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 but we're still evicting people. So, Jim Baker, Executive Director for Private Equity Stakeholder Projects, has identified more than 500 new eviction cases filed by private equity firms and other corporate landlords since the eviction moratorium was announced September 1st. So they're still going through there. You know what I mean? They're still trying to do this. It says, rather than working with the residents and giving them an opportunity to stay in their homes to limit the spread of CD19, some landlords are using eviction filings to establish whether residents should be covered by the moratorium. Meanwhile, some states seem to be adopting a more narrow application from the CDC ban. For example, the CDC doesn't say anything about renters needing to provide documentation to prove that they qualify for the protection aside from the declaration form. But in Maryland, evidence may be required. And while the CDC bans any step toward eviction by a landlord, some eviction steps will still be allowed to proceed in Maryland, including hearings and even the decisions. Only the end of the process in which a tenant is forced to leave their home is on pause, so they'll literally still go to court. They'll get it all done so that literally on the day that moratorium comes up, you're evicted. You will not have any time to, go to court and fight it, get extensions, etc., etc. You will instantly be evicted the day that happens, okay? Right when we get to 2021. And here we go. This is what I was talking about Michigan. In Michigan, it's up to a judge's interpretation of what stages of an eviction the CDC's ban should apply to. So I actually may not even, they may find me that I don't even, follow, or I don't fit into it. That, oh no, you can actually, the CDC ban doesn't even apply to you. So you still can get evicted, It's just crazy. Inconsistent state interpretations could create confusion among tenants and landlords about their rights and obligation and thwart the moratorium's purpose of preventing CV19. This is it. It said, if your landlord is still moving to evict you despite the CDC's bans, if you're willing to share your story, please email me at annie.nova@nbcuin.com. Do that. You know what I mean? If you need to, go ahead and do that. I don't think it could hurt. You may be able to get some help. That's why I want to make these videos with these links, in the description so that you can go to these different places, different sites, and maybe get a little bit of help if you can, okay? And going back to this, we already know that it doesn't look like you're going to get another round of stimulus. And if it does, like I've been saying, it seems like they just want to do something right around the election so they can say, oh, look at me. One side comes out and says, oh, we're going to give you 1,000. The other side comes, we're going to give you 2,000, whatever it is. And then that's how they'll be able to get some more voters, on their side. It's pathetic if people think they care about you. They don't care about us at all. We are still waiting for unemployment. We are months and months and months with no money, and they do not care. I have called unemployment 3 times each week, okay? They tell me to wait a week. I don't. I still call back. I know you're on hold. You go through all that. They get on there and they say, due to the backed amount being so much now because they held it in the first place. I didn't ask them to hold the money, but because it's so large now, because of all this identity theft going on and people stealing, other people's accounts and everything like that, it has to go to a certain person, a certain higher associate that has to verify your identity. And so until they can get to one of these special people to verify your identity, you do not get your back pay. You don't, and not even that, they stop your pay you're on right now. Like I said, I got one payment on September 1st, and that's it. And then after that, when I got that first payment, I was actually happy to think that I would start getting at least my week-to-week, not the $600, not none of the back pay, but I thought I would at least start getting the $160 a week from here on out. So I was like, okay, that's something, Nope, instantly shut that down. And it's just so frustrating when you call and they're just like, sorry, there's nothing we can do. But hey, we're all going through it. So please let me know down in the comments what you're dealing with, how you feel about this, and if you know of anything that can help these people that I can leave links to help them out. And right here, let's end this with stimulus check. Says, until recently, another round of cash payments to Americans had bipartisan support and seemed all but certain. Guess what? Not now. Yet, in the Republicans' most recent relief proposal, there was no mention of stimulus checks. So, everybody, please, don't be planning on this money. Don't sit there and expect this to come. Don't let all these other people that are literally clickbaiting you saying, oh, stimulus approved, checks are on the way, here's the dates for the checks. They are all just, taking stories and twisting them. They take a report that one person has given out, Steve Mnuchin or somebody puts out a statement, and they take that and they use that and say that that's what, well, look, the money's coming because this guy said it or that one said it. Until they agree on it and it's completely done and approved, stop wasting people's time and hurting people, because when people see that they might have a stimulus check come in, it gives them some relief. And for you to be clickbaiting people like that, they click on it and they realize that you just lied to them, you are devastating people. So truly, you should be ashamed if you're out here clickbaiting people on this topic right here. But I'll leave it here. I'll get this edited. I'll get this out to everyone, and I'll get as many, like I said, links in the description. And I want to put together a couple more videos with, directions. So if you have any information, like I said, let me know your state that you're from, and what these processes are in your state, and what we could do to help some people. So everybody stay strong, stay safe, no fear with this. We're all going through this. We're all fighting through this in one way or another. We are all struggling through this. But continue with your faith. Every single day pray against this. And I promise you, we will get through this, okay? Good will defeat evil. So no matter how much they hold us back and shove us down and try to do everything they can, we know who wins in the end, okay? There is no changing that. I love you all. We'll talk to you all real soon. God bless.